The blatant censorship of books in red states has hit peak lunacy, as an Alabama library has labeled a book potentially sexually explicit because the author's last name is literally gay. Now, the Huntsville-Madison County Public Library, HCPL, in Alabama, took the step of putting a book titled Read Me a Story, Stella on a list of 233 books to be reviewed and potentially removed from the library. The book is about two children who read books and build a doghouse, which, again, there's nothing sexually explicit in that. The school library journal says the book is appropriate for kindergarten through third grade. So what's going on? Well, the author is named Marie Louise Gay. That's just literally her name. Gay is part of her name. This is how ridiculous this entire moral panic has become. So-called moral panic. There's nothing actually more moral than banning knowledge. But anyway, now it's gotten worse. According to PEN America, the number of books banned in schools increased by 33% in the 2022 to 2023 school year. And here's what's kind of hilarious. Apparently, some of the book banners claim, oh, no, we're not actually targeting LGBTQ plus content. Oh, really? Really? Curious. Because if that's not the case, then why is at least a third of all targeted books had why did at least a third of those books have LGBTQ plus characters and themes? Other characters and themes include Black people, discussions of racism, etc., etc. That said, this book didn't have any of those things. According to HCPL Executive Director Cindy Hewitt, the only reason that Read Me a Story, Stella even appeared on the list is, again, because the author's last name is gay. Quote, obviously, we're not going to touch that book for any reason. Explaining that the library was trying to be proactive instead of reactive. So they read the cover and judged it. Judged the book by its cover. And, again, didn't even read through it. And was just like, I don't know, her name's Gay. Oh, we'll toss it, chuck it, put it in the review pile, just to be safe. Come on, this is ridiculous. And look, aside from the absurdity, okay, this actually also illustrates a larger part of, or issue with censorship. And that's the chilling effect. Because she just said, well, we're being proactive. Why do you have to be proactive like that? Because librarians are not sure if politicians are going to pass hugely restrictive laws that, punish librarians. I believe it was an Alabama politician that tried to put forward, or at least talked about wanting to put librarians in jail for books that involve LGBTQ plus content. So in a situation like that, in an environment like that, these librarians are like, oh my God, if there's anything at all that is LGBTQ plus, but we got to get rid of it. We got to move it. We got to review it. We got to whatever. Chuck it in the pile. Hey, her last name's Gay. Chuck it in the pile. You want to get arrested? So that's the chilling effect of the censorship, right? Where books that, again, shouldn't at all be controversial. And I'm not even saying that, the books that are generally targeted by these bigots and transphobes should be considered, problematic. They're not. But like this is not even involving those kinds of books that involve these themes. Again, of LGBTQ, which again are perfectly fine and actually should be in libraries. It should be accessible to young people because it really does help them. And I've gone over the numerous reasons of why these books should continue to be accessible in an age-appropriate way. That's it. This book is not involved in any of that, but it is an unfortunate victim of these, of this chilling effect that all of these book bans, pushed by right wingers, is causing. It's ridiculous. Hewitt insisted that there was no intention of targeting LGBTQ people, even while the library is putting books with any mention of the word gay under scrutiny. AL.com reported that 91% of the 233 books on HCPL's list had words like gay, transgender, gender identity, or gender nonconforming in their subject headers. So I think it's pretty obvious that they are targeting those types of books. Now, Hewitt also admitted that she had asked HCPL branch managers to search for books with words like sexuality, gender, sex, and dating. Quote, we wanted to be proactive and allow our library staff to look at our collection and make decisions about moving material to an older age group and not have someone from outside dictating that for us. Going back to the politicians and the chilling effect. She also added that many of the books have been moved to the adult section. Now, of course, she got some pushback from HCPL employee Alex Kim Yoon, who called out Hewitt for unilaterally moving all of this before anyone's even complained about the books. So again, going to the, we're just being proactive because nobody's complained about the books. And they're just, like, you can see that someone here is super afraid of their job and super afraid of what these right-wing politicians are going to do. So on the one hand, it's like, I kind of understand the position. And on the other hand, it's like, no, you're a librarian. You're supposed to protect access to knowledge and not bow to these people. Now, that said, Kim Yoon also called on people to support libraries. Quote, if you're mad, what we need you to do is to come and check these books out, come to story times, put in purchase requests for books that you want to see. We need you to keep supporting the library. So that's really, really important. It's a really good message, and I 100% agree with it. As for Gay, she hasn't said anything, but her publisher did release a statement. This is Kirsten Brizard, Gay's publicist at Groundworks Books. Quote, although it is obviously laughable that our picture book shows up on their list of censored books simply because the author's last name is Gay, the ridiculousness of that fact should not detract from the seriousness of the situation. This proves, as always, that censorship is never about limiting access to this book or even that one. It's about sending the message to children that certain ideas or even certain people are not worthy of discussion or acknowledgement or consideration. This is a hateful message in a place like a public library where all children are meant to feel safe and where their curiosity about the world is meant to be nurtured. She also noted that this book hasn't been mistakenly censored anywhere else. To that I say, well, it is Alabama. You kind of expect stuff like this from Alabama. Sorry. But this brings me to the point where she says that all children are meant to feel safe. There are people out there, and it's very obvious now, there are people out there that don't want children to feel safe. LGBTQ plus children, specifically. They don't want any curiosity nurtured. They, for some reason, believe or profess to believe something that's idiotic. And that's the idea that reading a book makes you gay. Or that reading a book makes you trans. No, that's not what happens. Reading Harry Potter doesn't turn people into a wizard. Okay? I'm just saying. And maybe that's a bad example because, you know, J.K. Rowling is a transphobe. But then again, so many Harry Potter fans, and I'm not one of them, by the way. I never liked Harry Potter. But so many of their fans, and even that, you know, the actors in the movies are like, whoa, no, we're not transphobic. Hold on. We want nothing to do with, you know, J.K. Rowling's transphobia. Just because, you know, we like the work, we're going to try to separate that up from the artist. And so I can understand that. But anyway, look, getting back to the people who are pushing book bans, they don't want children to feel safe. They don't want curiosity nurtured. What they want at the end of the day is obedient workers. It's like the old Carlin bit, you know? They want obedient workers who will not question the authority, who will follow their societal norms and standards, which is, of course, nuclear family, grow up, get married, you know, pump out a bunch of kids that will either, you know, serve as the future obedient workers in the factories, or the workplaces, or they will become soldiers. And that's it. Don't you dare reach that forbidden knowledge, you know, because that will upset the social order, our social order, that we, tend to do very well in. The people making these rules, once again, they're usually at the top of the social order and want to keep it that way. A lot of these banned books challenge these old ideas, and that's what the people who set these ideas, well, that's what they don't like. So that's why tyrants always try to stop people from amassing knowledge, and why unilaterally the bad guys are always the book burners. If somebody's trying to ban or burn a book, odds are they're the bad guys.